another day in the shop. We're going to do something a little bit different today. Welcome to chapter 10. And today, while the work on the bathroom vanity is still ongoing, I did a little bit of work on it on the weekend. We're going to do something a little different for the video today, and we're going to shoot a little bit of a turning video. Why am I doing that, do you ask? Well, that is a very good question. Last Friday and Saturday, I was hosting a Hub City Turners class. It was taught by Trent Watts. It was an introductory, basically an introduction to turning, which is something that is really, really fun to go through. If you're just learning to turn, it's a wonderful opportunity, and if you want to get involved in those classes, join the Hub City Turners, and that allows you to come to these classes, and it provides insurance for you and all that kind of stuff. It's a great organization to join. Notice I'm wearing my turning smock from them today. The concern with starting to turn is that it's expensive. And yes, it can be. I like to turn big things, big bowls, and in order to do that, you need a big lathe. And often those lathes are fairly expensive. And I didn't start that way either. I started with a small lathe. So what I wanted to show you today is just what you can do with a little lathe like this. This little lathe, I'm sure, well, I'm not sure anymore. I haven't been watching for a while. I don't look for lathes anymore on Kijiji because I already have 8 of these, and that's probably enough. So, but it's really handy for teaching classes and things like that, which I'm hoping that we can do here more often in the future. But this is a nice little lathe. It's probably between $200 and $300 on the used market, which isn't a bad start. The other thing with these lathes, though, you need tools to turn as well. So it's not just that you buy the lathe and you're away. You need to buy some turning tools, and you can start adding things depending on what you're turning. So for example, if you want to turn pens, then you need a pen mandrel and some other supplies that go with pen turning. But that's not that expensive. If you want to turn between centers projects, then you'd need a couple of decent turning tools. If you want to turn bowls, it's nice to have a chuck, but it's not completely necessary. Today I'm going to turn a little bowl because you can do little bowls in these little lathes. They don't take much space, as I said already, and they're relatively affordable. So we're going to turn a little one like this today. And what I'd like to do is, I watch a lot of YouTube, and one turning fellow that I watch is Jim Sprague out of Petawawa, Ontario. Jim has a wonderful channel. He does all kinds of amazing stuff, and but what he does that I appreciate is he does subscriber giveaways. So he's over 100,000 subscribers now. So he's been giving little pieces away all the time, and I need to look into the analytics on my channel to see if I can tell exactly, for instance, who would be the 100th subscriber. If I can accurately tell who that is, the little bowl, either this one or this one, will become the 100th subscriber giveaway project. It's just a little token of appreciation. Okay, so I'm going to, I have a confession to make. I actually shot this video yesterday, but when I started turning, I had the camera in the wrong places, and all you saw for about 10 minutes was my armpit. So we're going to move the camera around to the back side today, and I'm going to turn this little bowl. Okay? Okay, I'll reset and I'll be back. Okay, with this camera setting, you're not going to see me at all. It's more important that you see what I'm doing. So This shot's going to be a little weird maybe, but at least it's not going to be showing my armpit like yesterday's was. I took the liberty of preparing a little blank. These little blanks were given to me by Mike Hosselak. For those of you who don't know who that is, I suggest you spend a little bit of time on the internet looking him up, as he is an amazing turner. In fact, one of the best I've ever seen. So thanks, Mike. We're going to put this in the lathe. And I took the liberty of marking centers already, so that's done. I don't like to have too much of the quill exposed, so, and with these little lathes that can lead to a little bit of a traffic jam under it. I think I'm going to, this lathe has had a little bit of a history. I got this one from Chuck Klein, and it had fallen off a truck, and the repair is good, but there's just a few little things that don't work quite the way they should, but it's still a very, very good lathe. Uh-oh. Okay, I gotta plug it in. That is helpful. You think you're prepared to do these videos, and then you do something silly like forget to plug the lathe in. Okay, speed is okay for this. Okay, so it's nice and tight. Always remember to double check everything. Quill is locked, spin it by hand. Yes, it clears the tool rest. Tool rest's at the right height. And that looks like it's spinning very well. Okay, I'm going to grab, this is a 3/8 bowl gouge. I could turn the whole thing with it, but I'm not. So if you're buying tools, if you want to turn little bowls, chances are you could buy one tool and you could do it. Okay, so I'm going to start talking less and start turning. So I'm just going to put the tool on the rest first. I don't know if I want to make this into a turning class per se. I could tell you about putting the tool in your hip and turning with your body and all that good stuff, but maybe we'll save some of that for another time. This is a pretty piece of wood. Got a little bit of a hole there. I'm not sure what to do with that yet, but we'll figure it out. Okay. Okay, I have these glue blocks here. It allows me to turn what's called a tenon. And this tenon is going to fit in the turning chuck, and I'll show you that when I get there. The problem with these glued on ones is sometimes the glue comes off. So hopefully we won't be chasing a blank around the shop. I'm going to use just a little skew here. And this has to be good. This has to be 90 degrees to each other. And yeah, I can see that block isn't on there the best. Hopefully we get this off without me having to edit video and do this again. Okay, that looks pretty good for a tenon. Okay, oh boy, where did I put my chuck? Okay, well, we're gonna be, you know, that you think you get things ready, and then when you're not ready, and that is frustrating. Oh, there it is. Okay, well, hey, these are fun to make, and hopefully you enjoy it too. Okay, so now I'm going to shape the outside of the bowl. And I'd like to be able to cut this way, but you can see with the tailstock there, that's not going to happen. So I'm just going to make kind of a shear scraping cut. But notice, I'm not turning with my hands, I'm turning with my body. And if you're using this as an educational video, that's the one thing you should take away from today. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something with that. Boy, but that's a nice piece. It's a little bit tore up, a little bit rough yet, but that isn't that big a deal right now. These little bowls, sometimes the shape, you know, there's not much to work with, but they're still really cute. But I'm going to try to fix something here right away. Notice that there's a little bit of a knot here that's going to flake and come apart. So we're going to throw a little bit of super glue on that. Super glue is one of those things, it's maybe hard to turn without sometimes, but it gives off quite noxious fumes when it's curing, and that can be a real problem. So my advice would be to use it when you need it, but try not to breathe the vapors in. So I think we're just going to have to leave that sit for a little bit, because I don't have my accelerator here. So maybe while that's setting, oh, that should be good. Okay, so I think we're good. Okay, so I'm going to continue. Not quite the shape I'd want, but I am getting rid of that. Okay, now I'm going to try to, I still have my flat spot there so the chuck jaws can index, and that's hard to understand now, but I will show you that. That's important. But I'm just going to try to take a very light shear scraping cut. And I don't know if you can see those light little shavings. That's kind of what you're after. Oh yeah, that's much better. Actually, I think that's going to be good enough for now. I'm not, the shape isn't great for me. Like it's okay. But I had to get this smaller than I wanted because of the defect in the wood. That's another thing you're going to have to learn to work within the, learn to use what the wood gives you. Okay, I'm just going to put some sandpaper on here. That's a 100 grit. And that's 180. Ooh, that's going to be pretty when it gets some finish on it. Very nice piece of wood. All right, so the foot or the tenon is made. the indexing area is defined and the outside of the bowl is basically finished. So that means now we've got to turn it around and make it so that I can turn the inside of the bowl. And I think I'm going to bring you guys back when I'm ready to do that. Okay, and we're back. Off camera, I took the tailstock off and set it on the floor. I like to set, with little lathes like this, and I work with kids and everybody, I like to set those on the floor. Because if you set them on something, like for example on the edge here, excuse me, it's going to fall on the floor and it's going to break. And that is a bad thing for these lathes. That could, well, you'd have to find a good welder because you can't get parts for these anymore. Okay, so I'm going to show you what a chuck is. This is the brand is a one-way Talon chuck with spigot jaws on it. $300? Yeah, they're not cheap. Would you need this to start to do this project? Probably not. There are other ways of doing it, but this way is probably the easiest way to do it. So you open your jaws. It's very important. See that I'm hitting that shoulder that I made, and that's important. I have a little bit too much angle on the tenon. I'm hoping this is going to work okay. Yeah, that's better. The very little tenon on here. Oh, that's going to maybe be a problem. Oh, well, we'll see. Every once in a while, I have a failure with the glue block here, so if all of a sudden you noticed we've gone to another clip, you might have witnessed a breakdown. Oh, that's spinning really nice. Okay, so I'm going to put this away. And there's all kinds of ways that you can turn this. What I like to do, and I work with kids especially, is I like to drill a hole down the center to kind of mark where the bottom is. I think that's important. That way my students aren't making little funnels when they make these. So we're going to drill a hole. This is kind of the original cordless drill. The piece spins and you just push this in. It's kind of a novel idea. But I think I'm going to make one facing cut though before I drill the hole. The tool rest, and I want my tool rest to be set so that the center of my, oops, wrong one. The center of my gouge hits the center of the bowl. That looks like it about right there. Oops. You know, I never do that. But I have extras. That's going to be a little bit of a pain for the rest of the day here. So, okay, let's see what we got here. We're going to see if this goes flying. Well, so far so good. Okay. What you want to do is turn very gently. You don't want to use aggressive cuts. And I'm going to go in, I think, till about there. Okay, I have that in my head. I think that'll do. Okay. Now I know about where the bottom is, which I think is a good thing to do. If you're, for example, in the adult class this weekend, nobody did that. And that's okay, you don't have to. But I like to use it when I'm working with students. So, Okay, we're just going to hollow the inside out now. And we're just going to be gentle. Slow and controlled. And gentle. Okay, you'll notice that the handle is getting more and more over there. Basically what I need to do is see that bevel on the gouge there. That needs to match the outside when I'm doing my finishing cuts. So that handle is going to be way out there. Okay. A good idea to always turn the lathe off when you're making adjustments to it. Oh yeah, that's going to be a problem. Oh well, we'll do the best we can with it, but I needed to get the tool rest under. Oh, that's not going to work. You know, I've used these things for years, and this is the first one I have ever broken. Okay, we're gonna have to turn the camera off. I gotta get that fixed. And we're back. Nothing that a channel lock couldn't fix. I have extras of those, so I will change one when I'm done this little video. But we'll keep that handy for now. Okay, where were we? We were hollowing out the inside. Okay, so here we go again. Okay. Okay. I didn't get the hole drilled deep enough. And again, for all the turning with students that I've done, I've made a little depth gauge tool here. I should really invest in some thumb screws. Oh yeah, we're not anywhere near. Oh, the hole isn't there, it's just covered up. I thought I was to the bottom of the hole. Okay, but yeah, this is a nice little tool. It's easy to make. I just threaded, I believe this is birch. I just took a tap and die set and just threaded it in there, and those threads hold great. These things are probably 10 years old and they've been used a bit. So that's another kind of good idea. Okay, let's continue on this bolt, because that's what the I'm hoping you're getting all this. That's getting pretty close, just about at the bottom of the hole. Okay, let's check that, just see where we're at. Okay, we can go a little deeper yet. The wall thickness feels good. I'm quite okay with that. Tool rest is just a little high. Okay, so okay. Ooh, there's a bit of a point at the bottom. Okay, let's see what we got here. Taking a lot more time on this one, but that's good. Okay, so the depth is right, and I made a finishing cut on the wall. It's a little, I got a couple little lines at the bottom. I'm just gonna get those out. Just a light cut. Think I got them. Okay. So now I'm going to take the rest back, and I'm not going to bore you with a whole lot of sanding, but I am going to sand just a little bit. Getting inside these little bowls is a bit of a challenge. But we're not going to sand much. Okay, I think we're going to give it a little hit of 180, and that's going to be good. Okay, all right, so now what we need to do is we need to take this out of the chuck, we need to put it in this way, and now we need to get rid of the tenon or the foot at the bottom. And there's all kinds of ways you can do this. Some people have vacuum chucks that they suck this onto the chuck or the form. I'm just going to use my turning chuck. And I think what I'm going to do is, if I have it handy, and I do, is just put a couple rounds of tape on the jaws so it doesn't mar the inside. That way you don't have steel jaws touching this relatively soft wood. Okay, and for that I need to bring the tailstock back into the picture. Okay, oh yeah, that looks nice. Okay, now I added a little bit of dimension and it's to the jaws, and it's not going on, so there we go. That's what I want. And then we're going to slide this up, and we still have center here for when we turned it between centers, so we don't want to get rid of that early. Yeah, this lathe, yeah, I just have to tighten things a little more than I'd like to. And if some guy wouldn't have broken this lever off, we could do this a little more efficiently too. What a guy, eh? Okay. I always used to look at my students funny for doing that because I had never broken one. Maybe I've broken one. I think this is the second one in my life that I've ever broken. I feel so bad. Okay.
And again, always check everything. You don't want anything hitting. Everything's tight. Everything looks good. Okay, so now we're ready to go again. That looks like it's spinning nice. So now the goal is to get rid of this and make a bottom of the bowl, and we'll be done. Okay, so here we go. Okay, this bowl gouge isn't really the best thing for getting in there. I'm just going to go to a detail gouge. Could I have done it that way? Yeah, but I'm lazy. Oops, I'm lazy at the catch too. Okay, now I'm into the bowl wood here. I'm past the tenon or the glue block. What I want is I want a little bit of a concave in the bottom of the bowl because I don't want it to wobble and rock. So I'm just going to carefully do that. I should have measured the depth here. I'm not going to go too far. I think I'm there. I think that bottom's pretty good. I think that's going to be good right there. Okay, we've sanded the outside and the inside. I could sand that bottom a little bit, but I'm quite happy with the cut I got off the gouge. So I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it out of the lathe. I'm going to turn the camera off for a little bit. I'm going to take a little saw. I'm going to cut the bottom off, just smooth it off with a bit of sandpaper, and then I'll bring you back and show you what it looks like, okay? Well, here it is. That's a beautiful little piece of wood. Thank you, Mike, for that. Yeah, it's a little one and a big one. So little lathe, big lathe. Cheap to learn to turn on, a little more serious. Okay? So hopefully you enjoyed that little kind of demo promotion for getting into turning. It's a lot of fun. There's classes out there. Get involved in a club or an organization if you want to. If not, there's tons on the internet. But it's nice to see somebody in person when you see them put that gouge into the cut and how it all works and how it sounds and everything. The camera sometimes isn't as accurate, and actually I'm thankful for that. So, yeah. I guess my plan for this right now is I'm going to check into analytics and see if I can determine who exactly would be my 100th subscriber. I think that's the next milestone. I think I'm at about 40 and a bit now. We're just starting out, so hopefully tell your friends. I try to advertise this channel on Instagram and Facebook as well. So yeah, for 100, I would mail this thing just about anywhere. So if you're in another country and you'd like this, I'd put it in a little package and I'd send it to you. Yeah, and with that, please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll get back to the cabinet build towards the end of this week. You'll see another video on that. So thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next video.